Hi everyone, this is Digitalk with Bimulus. The purpose of this podcast is to raise built environment digitalization awareness amongst industry, showcase Singapore's efforts on built environment digitalization such as BIM, IDD and IPD, and look at digitalization worldview through the lens of Singapore. Every month of the last Friday, we'll be inviting guests to discuss the latest BIM trends happening in the world. We look forward to you following our podcast. Thank you. Afternoon to everyone. Welcome to Digitalk with podcast again. This is our eighth installment where we have architect Yong Sy Lyng to join us on today's topic, where we will look at augmented reality, virtual reality, IoTs, and AI, and also look at Metaverse as well. Architect Yong has her own office, so she's a practicing practitioner. So I'll just hand it over to Architect Yong to briefly introduce herself before we dive in today's topic. Architect Yong.
Hi, I'm Sy Lyng. I run my own office, and the name is OWMF Architecture. I'm also a researcher and part-time tutor at NUS. I think, I have worked on some projects in the Metaverse last year. So I guess that's why I'm here today.
Okay, thank you for joining us this afternoon. So let's just go directly into the topic. Could you briefly explain, based on the topics like what is AI, IoT, AR, VR, mixed reality, and metaverse? There's a lot of buzzword going around in the built environment at this moment, talking about these things. So maybe you can briefly just explain to us what all this means.
Okay. Maybe AI. AI stands for artificial intelligence, and that's something like Chat GPT. Basically, the technologies that they kind of search the database, probably from internet, and they find what is the next possible things to your prompt, right? And then so if you send in your prompt is an image, they search the database and they find other images that's similar. So that's the technology for AI. IoT is more like devices that can be connected to the internet or web or other devices. So it can be like your smartphone, smart watches. So that's IoT, or it can be your home appliances. For example, like your rice cooker or your robot, the robot cleaner. So these are all devices based. Uh, as for AR, that's augmented reality. So it's basically like if you have your phone and you are doing a video of a physical environment, suddenly you have this virtual digital character that is superimposed to this real world, so-called. So it's like the Pokemon Go, the game. So you have the Pokemon as the digital thing, but the background is something real, right? Whereas for VR, that's virtual reality. So everything is kind of virtual. So your flight simulation, in a way, that's VR. Metaverse can be VR because everything is virtual. And MR, mixed reality, is um it's like your IG filters or Snapchat filters, right? Where your a physical object can kind of interact with the virtual effects. So if like you do some facial expression and that gives out some sort of virtual effects. So they are mixing both physical and virtual stuff together. Whereas for Metaverse, is a digital space or environment, totally digital. So it's a bit like game kind of environment where you enter. So every metaverse, you have like crypto voxer, you have Decentraland and things like that. Every metaverse have their own kind of network or blockchain, and they have different. So it's like a different game basically, where
Okay.
everything. Yeah. So that is, yeah. These are the few things.
And being a practitioner yourself, I believe you might be using some of these tools to help enhance your design or make a better presentation to improve your workflow. In your opinion, how do you think that all these items are actually affecting the built environment landscape at this moment?
Oh, okay. At this stage, so AI, let's go back to the chat GPT kind of thing. So we can use it to do very quick research because you can, let's say the client give us an image, a reference image, right? So we can quickly kind of source for similar images or variations of that image. But the point is that then maybe we don't, because we want to create something new in a way. So that's like, okay, maybe we don't do that, or if these are the things that have been done, what else can I do, right? What other better variation can I do? So that is something that I think that we use for. I think there's a new one that is like it's called Naked AI. They generate plans. So you input some sort of like 3 bedroom condo, and then they will give you different layouts. So that's a bit not so image based, but also this is because AI draws upon an existing set of data, right? And they find the next probably what you like, right? So it's not really good for creation. It's more for research, and then maybe it's good for the kind of spaces of or architecture where it's okay to repeat. That means like let's say I'm doing a factory, the production or the warehouse, right? The it's always you don't need to innovate something new, right? Then it makes sense to use something like that. But if my client is looking for an identity, like a one-off building for their brand or their company or their own house, then this would not be very helpful other than to queue off some options. So that's AI. As for IoT, because it's a set of devices, I think it's been around for quite a while that we have all these smart devices integrated. So it's more like home automation system. So I think every home now to different degree, they are automated. Like some people just have the lighting, some people just have their blinds automated, but there are also houses that they basically have everything connected under one app. So that's quite so that's more impactful for the user, and for us it's just like coordination and how to provide the infrastructure for this. Yeah.
So do you
Whereas
see do you see smart homes becoming a trend over the years that you have been practicing as an architect? Do you see that
yes,
being adopted by your clients more and more?
yeah, it's more and more, and then it's been around for quite a while. I think now is the stage where, because it's usually if you want to wire everything in your house, you basically need to wire your whole house, and it's a lot of data cable. I think now it's at a stage where they try to make it wireless, but so far all the wireless system they are kind of isolated. That means like this system only deals with lighting. Then I need another one for my fan. So in the end, to control all the devices, basically I need like 5 to 10 apps. So what the wired system can do is that you pull the cables, but you can control everything under one app.
Oh, and the integrated system is what kind of brands is the more popular ones that clients usually go for? Maybe try
There's
to
two,
define.
like they call it EIB system. So that's like Windows or what's that called? Like Apple and the other, sorry, what lost one.
Take your
Apple
mind.
system.
Okay.
Huh? Like so there's Neutron, which is more like Apple. They are closed system. You have to use everything from their system. But there's
Mhm.
also more open source EIB system where
Okay.
you can use like Yong, like Vima. So but they are all these are all wired system. And I
And
think
and
now,
and do
mm,
you require like a bespoke programming in order for certain items to be picked up by the IoT, or it's just off the shelf kind of a program that it can come? and pick up the systems that they have available. Because you mentioned that it's open source, so therefore I would assume that you can actually do bespoke programming.
Yes, you need them to help to program. So basically, you have to provide like a gateway, and sometimes they only can control like on off. So that's like the minimum. But
Okay,
some system, like if you have aircon, they can like even control the temperature within the system.
okay,
So you can, but the guy, the service provider, is actually doing all the programming.
I
Whereas
see.
for the wireless system, it's more like off the shelf. If
Okay,
I buy a switch plate and I replace it myself, I can control, but it's very limited. So it's just like one light or one fan, something like that. So the wireless system is still developing, I'll say. But I think that's the trend because for the amount of wire that we are using for the system, it's a lot.
okay, okay. And that will probably increase the construction budget. Am I correct?
Yes, by quite a bit. So it's a luxury item for
I
now.
see. I see.
Yeah.
And
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 also
moving, yeah.
and also the wired system is quite hard to retrofit. So for commercial spaces, or if you are like by doing just some renovation, you it's difficult to lay the cables. So that's where the wireless system now, they have a market and demand, and I think they are working very hard to improve this. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then moving on to the AR, VR, and the MR, how does it affect the built environment now? Do you
But
use any of these tools to help with your design?
not for design. AR, VR, MR, they are probably used for visualization to
Okay.
help client kind of visualize what the build form is like. So
Okay.
instead, like last time we used to just do drawings or we show like a 3D model, right? So with VR and all this, they can take it to a next stage, like they can walk through as if they are in the house. So it's
Mm,
helpful. I guess it's helpful because building is always like one off. You
mm,
you don't have a sample. You cannot. It's very hard, right? Before they do it. But
mhm.
then for myself, I don't do that much because it's kind of like additional. Unless we are doing some a design that is so difficult and different, then maybe it's worthwhile to do it to show the client.
Okay.
But sometimes we find one-to-one mock-up more helpful than VR and MR
Okay.
for now. Yeah.
Okay. Good. And then how about the metaverse? Do you see that there's a wide range of use currently in Singapore?
Meta, yeah, Metaverse. So I had a client who kind of bought they own a crypto exchange. So the reason why they use Metaverse is because their clientele is also user of the Metaverse. So it's additional avenue for them to market and promote. So in terms of us building, actually, after we model in our 3D software, we have to input into boxes, turn all the building into boxes are like 3D pixels, right? So and input it into metaverse, and depending on which metaverse, there's actually a lot of restriction
Mm-hmm.
because the technology is not advanced enough, or like the pixel is not refined enough. So for us now, it's more like we just have fun. Like you can test some materials, like before you actually build the real stuff. But there's still quite a bit of limitations. Yeah, and also there's no gravity, so it's a different kind of environment.
I see. So is
I'll
everything
say
floating or
it's like a new, it's like a new project that we can attack, but it's if you want to use it to simulate physical world, it's not so useful. I think it's quite different. Yeah.
okay? And speaking of which, some of these things that we are touch on, do you incorporate any of this in your design processes at all besides metaverse?
Uh, yes. So the whole design process for a typical architecture project is like, okay, we do design, then there's design development.
Okay.
And then there's a kind of tender and award, and then the construction stage. So actually, a lot of during the design process, we use more things like Rhino and Grasshopper. They are software which can help us do mass customization. So maybe so in architecture projects, if I want to divide into two categories broadly, right, there's one type of architecture which is just building and they are kind of repeated. So it's like your Uniqlo clothing, right? So it's like a template that you keep repeating. So maybe they solve a certain problem or they don't require any innovation. And then the other spectrum is like your tailor-made clothes. So you try to like do one-off new kind of building, right? It's for whatever the purpose is for iconic uh, marketing. Is it for the use is specific, right? Uh, so I think all this technology can help these two types of architecture differently. So for myself, I don't do a lot of standard building. So things that kind of like beam, they help to make processes faster because it's repeated, right? And faster. Those are not so helpful for me because I can only use once. So the software that I use more is more like Rhino and Grasshopper, and they help in rationalizing very complex and one-off geometry, and they make it easy to, for example, if I make the whole building has 5,000 different cladding panels, this software can quickly lay out and generate each of the panel very quickly. So they help in mass customization. Does it make sense? There's
Yeah.
other like Beam or uh, this kind of software. They will then it's more about efficiency.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you use it mostly for your facade design, for all this kind of one-off situation where you need to pick up the panels very quickly, and because
Yeah.
the way it's scripted allows it to do a bit of adaptive uh, um, um, modeling in terms of your computational design work. So is that how you applied it to your projects?
Correct. But it's not just facade. So we do it to structure as well. Like there are some projects that we did that instead of a grid to organize a building, we use freeform curves. So every curve has so there's like one every radius is different for the curves, right? So to generate this kind of thing, we need Grasshopper and Rhino. So it helps in structure. It helps in let's say furniture within the project itself. So any items that is non-standardized, this tool software can help. And that's what we use mostly for.
Okay. And once you have those things that you or the form figure out with your scripting, then how does it go translate into your shop drawings when you're using your Rhino and your Grasshopper?
Grasshopper and Rhino, we use it can automate, right? So if I translate, there's like 1,000 length, right? I can use Grasshopper so that I can pull out those length
Mhm.
to easily.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then like let's say for example, like it allows for example, I use a dough to make a amorphous shape. So, but this is a design material because in real life we cannot build a building out of dough. Like
Okay.
it will be, let's say it's this weird shape, right? But the our building material is always rigid, so it's like a panel or it's basically not stretchable, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Even for membrane, it's not stretchable. It's like
Mhm.
it's quite fixed. So there's this kind of software kind of helps us to translate to break down the paneling, to break down, to optimize the paneling. For example, if I have the gap bigger, then my panel type can reduce from 10,000 to 8,000. right? So we do all this study during the design development stage.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And if I were to adopt some of this going back to IoT, AI, and Metaverse and AR, VR, what kind of software do you think we should be looking at if one were to adopt this from scratch, in your opinion?
From I think Grasshopper and Rhino, they are quite essential. So that is so is how you use this software. You can use it to automate. I think in the industry there's somebody doing that. Like they want to automate all the details and for standard building. So that's one method.
For the plugins, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for some types of building, right? If
Mhm.
you are not innovating, then let's try to standardize, right? Like Uniqlo clothes size, let's have only SML, XL. So that's one way this software I think can use and will be very helpful. Then another way is to use this software to create more exciting, complex one-off architecture,
Mhm.
right? It will be much faster because it's not possible to do by hand to draw 10,000 panels, for
Yep.
example.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess no matter what, the technology will help in either kind of architecture, and I hope the industry will promote both kind of architecture because if not, then we are going to have a homogeneous kind of approach to it. But actually, this software kind of allows us to have more diversity because you can do things faster. Yeah.
And the I know that some of the plugins available for AR VR, you can actually use some of the rendering softwares like your Twinmotion and also your Enscape as well. That plugs in into Rhino. And from there you can actually visualize your building, and you can pump to your headsets and you'll be able to look at your spatial environment as well. So those are some of the tools that's actually available in terms of the AR VR condition that is out there in
Yeah.
the market as well. I think for Metaverse, for collaboration, for me, I used to use VR Collab as well. So it kind of like acts like a metaverse. I'm using this experience same as what I see on the metaverse that's developed by Facebook as well, where the different people come into a virtual environment to actually engage and make conversation. And VR Collab
Mm.
actually allows you to do that. And what is wonderful about that software is that uh if let's say your design team is in Singapore and your construction team is actually in Dubai, and your production team for the design work is actually in Malaysia, everybody
Yeah.
can come at the same time and meet in the virtual environment in the design itself, and then start using your headsets to pick up and make markups in the virtual environment as well. So that is something that it's quite wonderful because everybody can come to a virtual environment and they can do some coordination, could be a design coordination, construction coordination as well in the virtual environment. And it's quite similar to how Metaverse works as well. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure whether if you have used that before, but it basically it works like a metaverse kind of condition as well. So earlier on you mentioned that there's this AI software that actually allows you to build a 3D model. What website is that again? Maybe for our audience.
Uh, it's more for the layout plan, not
Okay.
so it's a plan generator. It's called Maker AI, MAKET .ai. Yeah,
Maket. Okay.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Twinmotion. So actually, if you want to see like the project that we built in Metaverse, we actually use Twinmotion and
Ah,
to do all this.
okay.
And if you want, I can actually show you the process.
Yeah, great. Now if you can share something
Uh,
for us with our audience would be great.
yeah. Okay. Let me share my screen. So first, I think I can show you all the software process.
Wow. Okay.
Can you see? Are you able to see this?
Yep. Your
So
screen is up.
this is design stage where we generate the form based using Rhino and Grasshopper. So
Okay.
basically, this whole series, every series you see all these form, they
Okay.
are related by the same algorithm. So we are
Okay.
just controlling how, for example, this is all triangles, right? We're just controlling like how the triangles meet and what are the parameters. They generate this whole family of form.
Okay.
So, and this is different cells, number of cells. So you have different forms. Then eventually, this is the software, this is the chosen form, and this is done in Twinmotion basically, where we show the client. So it's a video and rendered frames basically.
Okay.
Uh, so they can kind of experience. But in order to do this and import this into the metaverse, we have to go through a process called a program to
Okay.
change a smooth plane into basically boxes, 3D boxes.
Okay.
Let me show you.
Does it work a bit like Minecraft?
It you mean the metaverse, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So you see, so this is on the top, you have more refined boxes. So
Okay.
the plane is actually made of all these cubes, little cubes, right? And the bottom right is more coarse boxes. So it depends on the metaverse, what is the resolution of the metaverse that you are using. So we change our building into that, and the red color building, the smooth planes that you saw now, when we import it into the metaverse, they are actually all box like pixelated like this because this is the maximum resolution that's allowed already. So here, this is the metaverse itself. You can walk around, you can teleport, you can like jump into the building, right? Uh, and this you can fly around. So that's the fun part that you can't do in real life.
So can I
Yeah.
put on the headset and then start start touring the spatial condition that you have
Yes.
here? Okay.
Yes. So here I'm showing you like this a flat screen, right? But actually you
Okay.
can experience it like a VR.
Okay. And I can simply put it into an Oculus headset, or do I have to connect it to a desktop? Meaning to say, if I have it on my handphone, I can
Yeah.
put it into a VR headset, and then I can start to navigate around, or do I have to be plugged into a desktop with the headset?
I think you can do it from your phone, if I'm not wrong, because we can access all the metaverse from any devices. It's
Okay.
actually, but it's web-based. Like there's a website, and then you go to into this metaverse.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you use this kind of tools to present it to your clients? Or?
Well, because of the voxelization, the
Okay.
pixelation, right? So that's what I meant when I said it's kind of limiting. So you need to, and the other thing is you have to buy the land in the metaverse before you can build.
I see.
So you can't just anyone can build. These are actually like they own this piece of land,
I
and the
see.
land really has the price depends on the size and of course all the whatever the value is, right? So uh yeah, we don't have land at this moment, so it's quite hard to use this. But I think from Twinmotion, uh, the client is better that the client experience and look at the animation from Twinmotion without going through the metaverse. But they are developing very fast, so I don't know. Maybe the next generation of metaverses can do that. It's easy for us to do that. For
Do
now,
do you foresee that the pixelation will get better over
yes,
time?
like this one, this is crypto voxel. I think like Decentraland, Sandbox, right? They are already a lot better. And they develop very fast, and you can see like the big brands, right? They kind of which metaverse they invest in. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you come to the discovery of this? Is it because your client was using it, therefore that's why you are able to do this in the metaverse?
Yes, my client owns a crypto exchange. They
I see.
they bought they own this piece of land. So
Okay.
basically they bought two pieces of land. This is for the NFT art of their clients.
Okay.
Then the other piece is actually their virtual headquarters.
I see.
So they have physical headquarters, but also they decided that, other people might, like their clientele would probably be hanging around in the metaverse. So they kind of want a presence in this. And the reason why they chose this metaverse is also because of the cryptocurrency that they hold. So different metaverses have different blockchain and cryptocurrency.
And having said that, the reason why I asked that question is how do you keep yourself abreast with the different type of technologies that's out there? And then at the same time find time to actually explore which is a better tool for you to either to enhance your presentation or to help with your to optimize the way how you design, and then eventually it will manifest into how optimization can be achieved in the construction methods as well. So how do you actually get yourself abreast with all the technologies that's available out there?
Uh, I think interest. I think we are constantly curious. So when a project comes, usually it's too late for us to think because they expect a proposal in 2 weeks. So what instead of like waiting for the project, actually we do proactive research consistently. Like, every Friday afternoon, for 4 hours, you just kind of do your research project so that when the right project comes along, you can, pluck out certain ideas and just execute it.
Mm,
Then, of course, chances like that, this is rare where the client come and we are quite open. Like we were very interested in this new thing. So we're like, okay, it's great, no? Like we can take the project and then still learn something and explore something. So once you kind of know about one metaverse, it's a lot faster when you study other metaverses. So
mhm,
it just keeps going from there. I think a lot of it is like out of curiosity. And a lot of it is like you cannot wait. You kind of have to do it and be prepared. And when the opportunity come, you try to propose to client like, there's this new thing. Are you open to trying? I think that's the whether digital or not, or is with physical building materials. The experiment and the research probably comes before the project. That's the only way. When the project comes, is there's no time.
You are also a teacher at NUS as well. Um, is that the same kind of advice that you will give to your students as well, when it comes to exploration of technologies when they are doing their design work? Do you give them the same kind of advice?
Yeah, it's the same. So my research basically also structures my teaching. Like the part of this, like I do some exploration, but I can make it into an exercise where they do in studio. So in fact, like it also depends on the students. So some students eventually they come intern with us. They can work on projects like this when if they are really interested, or they are not even interning with me, but we can have conversations. They do their stuff, right? But it's like, hey, do you find like this whole NFT and all this metaverse thing has been very interesting because my students they actually do go there. Like some of them they explore very deeply as well. So sometimes I even learn from them.
Mm, okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Metaverse as an educational license, or because you say you must actually buy a land to actually do something
Because anyone
physical.
can visit, but to build something you have to buy land. So
Oh,
and then in other, for example, in other metaverses, in some metaverses, you can buy gears, you can buy like in a game. So you may not need to build. I think they can even organize like events like a concert, right? They can attend a concert. So yeah, a lot of them they are very interested in this, or they are very interested in the coding part,
okay.
the design
It
bit.
it it kind of reminds me, it's a bit like that movie called Real Player One. Um, you know, where everybody comes and meet and do certain things. You can play games, you can fight with one another, you can actually hold events. So I guess Metaverse is beginning to look a bit like the movie itself.
Yep.
And so is there like uh so buying of things is using bitcoins and all that, and using cryptocurrency?
They are like CryptoVoxer is using Ethereum. Then Decentraland and Sandbox, they have their own cryptocurrency. And I'm sure there are other new ones coming out. So that can do different things, I think.
Okay.
So
And if let's say if I'm your student, I go in there, you say that they actually learn things on this metaverse. So, but because you are just touring around and walking around, what exactly do they discover along the way when they visit? I'm just curious.
I don't know whether any one of them built, but some made like NFT, for example. And anyone can make NFT, then you can exhibit over there. I think for the past 2 years, a lot of the big brands they start to have their metaverse shop, right? Like even McDonald's, right? So you can actually go order a burger. So that's like the mixed reality where you can go to the McDonald's in the metaverse shop, but actually get a real burger delivered to your house.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so you can do that. So if you have crypto, their currency, right? So you can do that.
Okay.
And Adidas is in Sandbox with Lego, right? So they are buying land. They are trying to build their online virtual HQ or virtual event space. I think an artist, I can't remember the name, but held a concert during COVID period. So since you cannot have physical concert, right? Then everybody is just going there for the concert. But I think they're still sorting out some streaming, the speed problem. So so if it's concert, right, then you probably want your headset because you don't want to just watch. So it makes sense, especially I don't know, like I think for the gamers is they are very used to being in this kind of virtual reality environment. It can be quite real.
Okay. And
So for example, like this building as well, this art museum, what we propose is that they can kind of change the building every day. That's something that you cannot do in real life. But for this, they can. And then we are giving them this uh, algorithm, right, that can generate a series of buildings, right? So they can just plug in one every day and it's fun. It's fun for their marketing.
mhm. In that way, it becomes interactive with the virtual space. Unlike the physical space, is everything is static. Whereas
Yeah.
virtual, by the whim of the person that is walking around, they can just change the environment according to their liking. So I guess the flexibility makes it a bit more exciting than the actual physical world.
Yeah.
In any case, there are already artworks and installation that is interactive. So I guess the virtual environment just make it much more interactive because now it's at the whim of the person that is using the space. Make
Yeah.
it a bit more fun that way. So you can use NFT to buy stuff as well, or you get paid with
And
NFT to.
NFT, I think it's not a currency. So NFT is like art, right? So that's something that what they like to do in Metaverse as well. Like it's a good place to display this piece of digital art.
Mhm.
Uh, because I think they have those NFT owner. What they have tried to do is like they have a physical space with screens to display this NFT art. But then it's a bit strange because it's like just a screen, right? So actually, a lot of them they like to display it in metaverse, like in a digital space for your digital art, and then you can actually go there, you browse, you can buy as well. Like they will have there's a button you can go into this building, for example, and then you can click, and then you can try to buy whether it's a piece of art or if you have like a sword, like gaming, like all your weapons, you can also sell that. So anything can be NFT, yeah, in that sense.
Yes. Is there any restriction, age restriction as to what can be bought on in the virtual environment and what can be displayed in the virtual environment?
I don't know that I know of. I
Okay.
think, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Seems like everything goes once you are in that space. You can
Yes,
do everything. Yeah. Well, that's
it's more
cool.
like you need your crypto, your wallet, your currency if you want to kind of buy something or interact with it.
And do you can you make a profit with your cryptocurrency, and then you can convert it to real cash at the end of the day? Can you actually do that?
Yep. Yeah, it's the same as all the cryptocurrency. You probably
Okay.
go to an exchange and then to sell and cash out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's really
basically last time, like in all the gaming universe, your token is kind of it's not yours in a way. The token belongs to the game creator.
okay.
In this is yours. You hold the blockchain address,
Okay.
and then you can swap for, let's say, with another game, which is another metaverse, right, through the exchange.
Mm,
So instead of like, you're just playing this game and you're you're within only the universe of this game.
okay. Okay. When it comes to blockchain, I think its use case is also beginning to seep into the construction industry as well. There has been some research into whether if you can use it as a digital ledger
Yes.
when it comes to paying your suppliers and paying your main con once the work is done, and then through the blockchain it will just pay to the different stakeholders. So there has
Oh,
been some research. Have you heard anything about this as well?
oh, I'm not aware, but I think it's quite good. So it's like nobody can kind of mess with the contract, right? Once contract is done, then the payment will go through. Then we probably won't have so much issue with chasing for
Yeah.
payment.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether in the future it'll become a smart contract in that way. And then you
Yeah,
get paid via blockchain. And then once the work is done, you can just tag a RFID to the material that is being delivered on site, and then it goes through your gantry. And then once it reaches your, it's just like ordering things online on your Amazon, right? Once it get delivered, you pay upfront, of course, but once it's delivered, it's scanned, and then they'll just send you a notification through the Amazon app and tell you that it has been delivered. So I guess you can apply that on a bigger scale to a
yeah,
construction industry as well. Yeah.
yeah. That would be something quite good for the whole construction process. It's like all the delivery services using IoT to track packages, right?
Yeah.
Then now, yeah, but we don't have that on site at the moment. Like even if they use it for maybe some supervision, because we are not like on site 24/7, they have like some sort of this kind of devices and to help. That would be quite good. So
Yeah.
not just the design process, and we talk about documentation process just now, like
Yeah.
then now, yeah, the construction process. I think all this integration will be quite good, I think.
Yeah, it'd be great even for fit out as well, right? So the moment the fit out is done, then your subcon or your main con get paid via blockchain as well. So that's also something that the foreseeable future will have something like that as well.
Yeah,
Rather have someone to go there and physically, oh, this mock-up has been done, this particular fit out has been laid, this the floor finishes and the seating is done. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I think, yeah, I think eventually, even when the client comes to us for design, I think it's quite important to differentiate whether you are expecting a Uniqlo standardized kind of product or you are expecting a tailor-made suit. I think now is quite blur. So in the end, it becomes inefficient. Like, actually, the product can be standardized and be more efficient and therefore cheaper, right? But it's why are we taking so long to do this?
mm,
Then
mm,
after that, because of and then certain processes, we cannot also have the best one-off creative product. So I don't know, like as a maybe eventually starting from design to contractor part, right? Everything will be more clearly differentiated. And I think because we have it even for food, even for clothing, right? It's always you have to decide, are you going to IKEA or are you trying to custom make your bed? You see? So then we'll get, then we because some buildings they don't have to be so expensive and they can
mm.
be built faster. But then yet when we have the chance, can we create something a bit more special, right? In a more so that you have a healthy built environment. So it's like a forest, right? You want different types of trees. You don't want it to be like a plantation where all the trees look the same. So I think in order for the whole built environment to be healthy, uh,
Yeah,
this is the direction.
yeah, yeah. All right. A very interesting conversation we are having today. I think we have almost come to an end to our podcast. Again, I would like to thank you for taking your time this afternoon to come be on our guest for our Digitalk. Thank you, Ar Yong, for your time. And just before we go, uh, just one last question. What do you think uh, you foresee in the foreseeable future, the kind of technologies will help with our built environment?
In I think it's like internet. I think we can't stop it. And I really hope that there's more and more of this integration, whether to help with creation or helping with the construction end. I think it will be more and more integrated. Right now, maybe it's like a bit isolated. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward because it's a new tool that we can definitely use to build better and more diverse buildings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think integration is key. Eventually, all will become a singularity. Hopefully, it will become a bit more seamless at this in the foreseeable future. Again, I'd like to thank you for your time. Uh, Hopefully next time I have a chance, I can attend your class as well and engage in conversation with your students as well. But thank you for your time. It was a
Thank you for your invitation.
thank you.
Yeah, it's
I'll,
very
I'll,
interesting.
see you again. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on the session on Digitalk with Bimulus. We hope you have gained some insights from the episode and hope you could follow us in our next episode again. Thank you and goodbye.